So, welcome back, and last time I was discussing about the F1 score. Now, F1 score is very useful for measuring the parameter of our matrix when the class imbalance is very high in the sense that, for example, as I was talking last time, we want to detect the fraudulent cases. So, out of let us say 1000 number of records, I found that around 5 number of records or 5 people or 5 transactions are fraudulent in nature. So, out of 1005, that means 995 they are not fraudulent in nature, and this kind of balance, that classification problem, is equal to a positive cases more or a negative cases more but not equal, is called as a class imbalance. So, we use the word we use the F1 score for using a metric, and F1 score has a beautiful property. Now, let us see F1 score in little detail for a minute or two, then I will come to the answer how we can use it. Now, F1 score is used instead of accuracy. Why? Accuracy is used when the true positive and true negative values are more important. Okay, so when I have true positive and true negative both are equal, that means are almost equal, or something like a class is equal to balance, then I have more meaningful about the accuracy. Okay, so that my model is not biased towards any of the positive or any of the negative one. However, while F1 score is used when false negative and false positive are crucial. So, a fraud happening is positive in my case, and fraud not happening is a negative for me. So, I am using for a case is equal to not happening a fall, I can treat as a positive, happening a fall as a negative, whatever I want. Ultimately, what we want is a false negative and false positive in our fraud detection case. So, F1 score is a better measure of in terms of the metric of the performance. So, accuracy can be used when the class distribution is similar. So, that means more or less homogeneous, positive and negative are equally distributed. However, F1 score is better metric when there is a imbalanced classes in the above case too. So, in the above for our fraud detection case, we have more of the cases where fraud is not happening, but few of the cases where fraud is happening. So, you can see here in the formula I have true positive, true negative, false positive, false negative. So, this is the prediction one and this is the actual one. So, the definition of my precision and recall is, precision is actually how many true positive are there divided by true positive plus true false positive. So, you have more of the positive, and similarly recall is true positive divided by true positive and false negative. Now, if you look at the denominator then you can see the denominator is actually having a true positive common, and here is a false positive and false negative. That means a precision tells me how accurate I am in terms of the positiveness, and a recall tells me I am also accurate in terms of the positive and negative both. So, that is the meaning of the word precision and recall in case of our metric measurement. So, what we do is, TP is the number of samples correctly predicted as positive, FP number of samples wrongly predicted as positive. So, if a person have a corona or a disease, it is positive, and if a person does not have a disease and it is being detected, it is a wrongly detection. So, it is a false positive. Similarly, the reverse of this, which we know in our deep learning metric or our ML metric measurement. So, F1 score is calculated as the harmonic mean of the precision. Now, why we take a harmonic mean? If you take a arithmetic mean is for a entire data set when the data set series is a harmonious one, whereas this is not the case here. So, that is the reason we take a reciprocal of the, okay. So, F1 score is calculated as the harmonic mean of the precision and recall score. It ranges from 0 to 1, that is 0 to 100%, and higher the F1 score is denote a better qualifier. So, F1 score is calculated as 2 upon 1 by precision, 1 by recall. So, it is a harmonic mean Okay. So, harmonic means the definition goes as 2 into precision into recall upon divided by precision plus recall. So, when you add it together, you are adding the entire data set basically. So, a F1 score is a better measure of accuracy when you have a class imbalance very high, and this is how we do it. So, in this project setup, project stakeholder have already finished the business analysis and they have an idea and a success criteria. Mary has clean and easy access to the data from a single source system, and stakeholder can define the task in terms of a classification problem equal to fraud is happening or fraud is not happening. They also have defined a clear way to test the result, and the software integration requirements are also very simple. Thus, the role flow of the project is simplified just a few steps. So, you can see here the very simple flow of our fraudulent detection case, very simple way. I have stakeholder, requirement, data science engineer, data science you are scientist, process data, model training, and then production, model API, and then finally the substitution. So, this is what we call as our uh, 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 model for our fraudulent detection case. Okay. So, as a result, Maisie has laid down the following steps to complete the task: create a machine learning model, second, test it, number 3, create a model training pipeline, number 4, create a simple integration API in order to integrate with the existing system, and finally document and communicate the result to the. Okay. So, this project looks very simple and well defined. However, based on this description, we can believe that Mary can handle it by itself with no or little supervision. So, this is how we can deal with the cases in the deep data sciences too. Now, whenever I am looking for a data science as a new subject or new paradigm shift from the machine learning, okay, what is the skill set a data scientist require? So, we say that a data scientist is a relatively new profession. Like computer scientist was a very old profession. The people who used to design the computer, they were called as a computer scientist. They will design the chip, they will design the algorithm, they will see that algorithm work with a minimum amount of time, and so on and so forth. So, a data scientist is a relatively new profession, and vague definitions of their responsibility are very common. This leads to uncertainty to many of the problems. Generic position description on the job board are unappealing to good candidates. So, when I read, okay, a company require a data scientist, it becomes a very much appealing, but I really get confused what the people are looking for from me. So, professional looking for a job won't be able to figure out what is required from them to get the position if you don't crystallize this definition in your head. If someone goes to a job without knowing what is expected from them, it becomes even worse. So, without a clear goal, or at least a clear definition, the next milestone your team will be lost, and defining clear responsibility of the team make the role be very what you call a easy and function too. So, you can see the person, and a person has beautiful nature to become a data scientist, in the sense that a data scientist is a mixed of mathematics, programming skill, statistical detail, visualization, machine learning, and knowledge management. These are some of the areas where a data scientist needs to be very well proficient too. So, looking at this, we can say a data science skill is a relatively new profession, and this thing. So, generic position require, so clear definition is not possible. So, let us see the domain. A ideal scientist is often described as a mix of the following 3 things. Domain requirement include the knowledge of environment data scientists are working in, such as a healthcare or retail, insurance, finance, and so on and so forth. So, you require a good knowledge about the domain. Second part is software engineering. Even the most advanced model won't make a difference if it can only present pure mathematical abstraction. So, they need to know how to shape their ideas into the. So, you have a mathematical model, but you have to shape them into a reusable form. So, that is why mathematical models are for a scientific purpose, but for a people who are generally using it, it has to be in a more usable form too. Data science need to be proficient, data scientists needs to be proficient in mathematics, statistics and so on and so forth as a key areas for machine learning, deep learning and data science. And very important is very much important for a data scientist is to be have a very good skill set called as time series analysis. Time series analysis means with at the time progressions happen, you should be able to analyze the data on the fly. So, this is what we call as a time series analysis in our machine learning algorithm. Okay. So, it is important to understand that each area of expertise present in the list are, okay. So, domain, very unlikely to find a person who has experience in all the area. So, you will not find a person who has every kind of experience, every kind of a domain knowledge, it is not possible. So, you are very unlikely to find a world class business expert who can also train state of the art DL model. And the good thing is about that you do not need to search for a unicorn. Unicorn means as something a unusual or a rare person or very difficult to get it. So, that is what we call unicorn. A data scientist need domain expertise mainly to understand the data. And if I am a computer science wala and I become a data scientist and I want to know about the healthcare, I am not a professionally healthcare qualified person. Okay. So, it is also handy when working with the requirement and stakeholder expectation. A basic medium understanding of insurance business can help the data scientist throughout the building of a program. How a business expertise can help the model or insurance company. Speaking with insurance expert in the same language can help to discover their pain and desire. So, the data scientist will be able to adjust his goal to achieve the better result. So, naturally I will be in a better condition. Insurance expertise will help in exploring and understanding of the raw facts and data from the company databases. So, this is where my expertise in the understanding of the domain is required. Insurance expertise can help in data pre-processing. It aids the data scientist in assembling databases for machine learning model. Thus, domain expertise is not a prime skill for a data scientist, but it is a basic to medium level of understanding which will improve the result to a large margin. So, I cannot become a doctor, neither I can become an insurer or neither I can become any of the other kind of domain knowledge domain expert, but if I have some basic to medium level of understanding and knowledge, my results will be much better and I will be able to give a better model. Skill of a data engineer. As a project become more and more complex, managing a data science project become very difficult. So, there are some skill set required from a data engineer. So, apart from your computer science engineering, you do require some data engineering principles too. For example, software engineering is a must. You should know project management, you should know the spiral model, you should know all the models, software good practices, everything of the software engineering is a must for your data science engineer. Big data engineering, that is big data science or dealing with the big data. So, you need to know some various framework like Hadoop or any other framework which include the big data analytics. And DBMS, you need to know about the RDBMS, NoSQL, okay, or in memory databases. So, these are some of the requirement of a data engineering. Okay. Similarly, data science manager. So, as I have been saying from the beginning, manager will manage the entire show. So, management is the first principle, management ideas, management techniques has to be acquired by the data science manager. So, data science team manager should have a good understanding of the main software program management methodology such as Scrum and Kanban. They should also have approaches and specific strategy to manage the data science project. This is one very important aspect of a data science manager, otherwise he will be just like any other person in the team. Domain expertise, definitely I require it because anyone can question me or anyone be able to understand the project. Data science, a good understanding of basic concept is also required. So, these are some of the basic characteristic of my data science manager. And of course, software engineering is a must. Without software engineering, no data science will be fulfilled. Okay. So, I need to know automated tested, I need to know good architecture, I need to know various other testing procedure and analysis and all. So, with this all the team efforts or team building is being completed. So, I thank you for your patience listening. Thank you.